Good morning, everybody. It's 7 a.m. It's another brew day. Thanks for joining me. Today is kind of special. I'm going to be brewing 2 batches of beer today for the first time ever. Normally I only do 1 or I do a 10-gallon batch, but today I'm doing 2 5-gallon batches. So the first batch that I'm going to start today is the New Englandish IPA from the Mashmaker Challenge. This particular beer is going to be pretty simple. There's just a couple of grains involved. There's 5.5 pounds of Simpson's Golden Promise and 2.75 pounds of crisp malted oats. And then there's just 3 ounces of El Dorado and 3 ounces of Mosaic for the hops, of which none of these hops will be going in during the boil. There's actually going to be 1.5 ounces of each of those hops going in at the end of the boil for a hop stand of 20 minutes. So I'm only going to do a 30-minute boil on this particular beer today in the interest of saving some time, because not only do I have to brew 2 beers today, but I also have to go help my friend load some stuff into a storage unit. The second beer that I'm going to be brewing is a dry hopped Kolsch. Now this is a recipe that Chip Walton sent out to me and a few other guys. We got a thread on Messenger that we're always talking back and forth. So he sent out this recipe and a Saison recipe. Both these recipes, I guess he worked with imperial yeast with, and sort of they came up with these 2 recipes. So the dry hop Kolsch, I'll go over that in a little bit. But that'll be the second brew for the day. The first one that I'm brewing is actually going to be going to a party coming up in April, a brisket cookout party. And then the dry hop Kolsch I will bottle up and I'll take with me out to Minnesota second weekend of May. I'm going out there to do some fishing with Paul Fowler. I'm looking forward to it, Paul. And we're going to exchange some bottles out there and do some tasting notes. I think Chip was talking about maybe brewing in the next couple of days too, and he's also going to brew the dry hopped Kolsch. So looking forward to all this. But it's 7 a.m. I need a Coke because I don't drink coffee. So I'm going to run to the store really quick, get a Coke, and then get back here and start the brew day. Here are the ingredients for the double brew day. This is going to be fun. All right, so we're going to start off with the New Englandish IPA. And we have 5.5 pounds of Golden Promise, or 65%. And 2.75 pounds of malted oats, or 35%. The hops that we will be using are Mosaic and El Dorado. Both will be added after the boil, so no hops are going into the boil. They will all go in at the end. So they're going to go in at T-0, and there'll be a 20-minute hop stand. And then we have some dry hops. We also have Mosaic and El Dorado, and those will go in after the fermentation is done, and they will sit for 4 days. And the yeast that we are using is a London Ale 3. So for our second batch of the day, this is a dry hop Kolsch. Premium Pilsner malt, 6 pounds at 61%. White wheat malt, 2 pounds or 20%. Vienna malt, 1.5 pounds or 15%, and a little acidulated malt, 0.3 pounds or 4%. The hops that we will be using during the boil is Saaz and Hallertau, and the Saaz goes in at T-60 and the Hallertau goes in at T-10. Then we have a special edition. Let me flip this over. We got some Mandarina Bavaria, 2 ounces that will be going in 4 days into fermentation. So I'm going to have to pay attention to that. And then the yeast that we are using today is Imperial Yeast Dieter.
Here it is, hot scotchy number 1 for the day. So I'm gonna finish off the rest of this little bottle that I tried, I think in the last episode. I'll pour about half of this right now and half on the second one for the day. Smells good as usual. Another good hot scotchy. This is the Golden Promise and the malted oats. So, yeah, very tasty. Here's the wort. It's pretty cloudy, as it should be for a New England-ish IPA. So, it's been a little bit of a struggle this morning so far here. One of my burners, something's not right with it, so I'm down to one burner right now. So I'm not able to heat and hold the temp very well for the mash tun at this point. So probably a couple of degrees off this morning from where I should have been holding temp on the mash. I should have been holding at about 153, and it couldn't. Well, I started it was working fine, and then something went wrong, so it pretty much was at about 150. So hopefully that doesn't make too much of a difference, but I think it's still going to end up being okay. I have drawn off all the wort, and I took a gravity reading, and it's just a little low, so I'm not getting the efficiency today. This is thing number 2 that's gone wrong for the day, so this is we're getting a good start here. But anyhow, my fix, I'm just going to bring up the gravity of the pre-boil wort just a little bit by adding some extra light DME. Just want to get a little bit more sugar in there. Right now it's at 1030, and we're going for a final gravity of 1044. So even after an hour of boiling, I'm not going to get to 1044. So I'm going to boil for 45 minutes. I'm going to add this about 3/4 of a cup of DME. That should bump up the gravity points, just the pre-boil gravity points, just a little bit. So we're going to pop this in here really fast, and I'll stir it in. All right, that's perfect. Brought it up to about 1037. So I think that'll work. 45-minute boil. We'll probably be right around 1044 or so. The boil is over. Hops have been added, and we got a 20-minute hop stand. Then I'm going to move this over and get it cooled down. All right, brew number 1 is done. That is the New England-ish IPA, and there it is right there. So I wrapped the heating pad around it, and I'm going to warm it up to 65 degrees and then pitch the yeast. So I helped Robert move some stuff into his storage unit, and now I am back, and I'm heating up the strike water right here so that we can dough in for batch number 2. Batch number 2 is the dry hopped Kolsch. I have some water salt additions that I'm going to add just to the mash. There are no sparge additions for this, and we're going to do a 60-minute boil on this. 60-minute mash rest on this, and our mash rest is going to be between 147 and 149. I have mashed in the grains for batch number 2, which is the Kolsch. And our temperature right now is at 148. So we're looking pretty good. I'm going to let that sit for about a half an hour, and then I'm going to start recirculating it. All right, I just aerated. Our temperature is up to 65 degrees. So time to pour some yeast into this batch. I have drawn off the first runnings, and I put the sparge water in, and now I'm recirculating again for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to draw off second runnings. So here's the hot scotchy for the Kolsch. That is delicious. Another good one for sure. Oh, I just love hot scotchies. All right, so we'll draw off second runnings. First runnings came in at 10:56. So I'm guessing second runnings will be about 10:20, 10:24, somewhere in there. We've got about a minute or two before it comes to a boil. Time to add some hops. Get this brew day done. The boil's done, and I am cooling the wort right now. So this brew day is almost complete, and it's a long one, that's for sure. It's gotta be close to 6:30. So after cleanup, maybe 7 o'clock, I'll be all done. All right, everything is set. Boy, I am tired. Still gotta have a beer though, but last thing is get this yeast in here. There we go. We are done. 2 beers today and helping a buddy move. Well, it's a good way to spend a Sunday, but my Sunday is gone already. So last thing I got to do is just have a beer, and I'm going to enjoy one of Chip's beers that he sent me. So join me in a couple minutes. Well, the brew day has come to an end, and it's time to open a beer. Now, as I mentioned before, Chip Walton sent me this beer all the way from the Twin Cities, and it is, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, a Rauch Graf. So, a Rauch beer? Yes, Rauch Graf. So I guess there's a little bit of twill of the R and whatever, but this is a smoked beer. So he's into smoked beers, he's into making them, and I have yet to try one of his smoked beers, but tonight is the night. After a long brew day, which I busted my ass doing, it's time to celebrate with a tasty beer. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I thought, well, I'll wait until a brew day so I could do some tasting notes on it. Ooh, yeah, right off the top, yeah, there's some smoke. Yes. Boy. All right, so I'm going to show you the color here really quick. Very nice. Just kind of a beautiful gold color, very clear. And there's smoke on the nose, not a ton. It's not like a ton, but it's there. All right, bottoms up. Oh, Wow. Okay. It's not what I was expecting. It's smoky. Yeah, there's definitely some smoke in the taste, but it's got a little bit of a, I'm not sure if you would call it sour. Well, here comes Brew Cat. Yeah, it's some apple, maybe green apple in there or something. It's got a little bit of a sour, kind of, not bitter, but a sour bite to it. You want to try? She's sniffing the cap right now. She's trying to figure out what it is. Hey, you want some? Oh, look at her. Maybe she might like this. So from what I understand, this is a beer cider mix, if I'm correct. Yes, that's what it is. It's smoky and definitely an apple. Definitely some apple there. Almost like a dry cider kind of feel to it. Yeah, it's amazing how much smoke there is on the nose, but not as much in the taste. Definitely leaning more towards a cider than a beer for sure. And if I had to guess, I would assume that Chip did not back sweeten this, but maybe he did. But it seems kind of dry to me, almost like a English cider, which I enjoy. I like English ciders. Very tasty. Thank you, Chip, for sending it out. Thanks a lot for watching. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and like this video. If you're old to the channel, like this video, and thank you for the support. I've got a couple of interesting brew days coming up, some plans probably within the next couple of months. So cheers, everybody. Have a good night. And I'm going to go upstairs, sit on the couch, have the rest of this beer, and go down the YouTube rabbit hole. Take care.